All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, Great Millstone, who teach very well, who I learned this truth from, and salutation out there to the hopeful lit who continue to push this word in our truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, man, just basically getting on the destruction, man, because the destruction is actually going to be the end of this kingdom. Now you read the scriptures on Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, around the 9th verse. It says Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. How would the end of this current world or this present life? How would it end? Through missiles and hellfire, for the lack of better words, man. Because that's the same thing that these devils use to get on top. Let's start right here in the book of Isaiah 9, and I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this," what is that this? World War III. "But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Yes, because, for the lack of better words, even Einstein had a quote. He said, World War Three, World War Three actually happened. World War Four would be fought with sticks and stones, because these devils actually know the power of the nuclear missiles, because the spirit of Yahweh Shai put the spirit on these devils to actually make these different devices, man. You watch that new movie, Oppenheimer, about how all those scientists got together and basically created this device. For the lack of a better word, that device wasn't meant, a missile, an ICBM nuclear missile, an intercontinental ballistic missile is not just set out there to, make somebody scared or just to pump fake. No, these weapons are actually meant to be used, man. The Lord, He didn't create the missiles in vain. No, He created it to put it into use. You don't create a screwdriver just to set it up. No, you create a screwdriver just to handle it, man. And the weapons of the tools that the Lord is going to use to destroy this place is the ICBM nuclear missiles. Let's get this in Isaiah 54 and verse 16. Because, that's going to be the thing that the devil, the sons of prediction, the guys who push forth death and destruction throughout the whole planet Earth, and that's the same way they got into power. The Lord is going to use that same thing to bring them out of power. This Isaiah 54 and 16, "Behold, I have created the smith." So the Lord, He's actually getting the credits for this, man. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I have created the waster to destroy." Let's get it in NIV. It says, "See, it is I who have created the blacksmith." And what a blacksmith do? A blacksmith create weapons. A modern day blacksmith would be these different scientists. It says, "Whose fans the coals into a flame and forges a weapon fit for his work." And only the ICBM nuclear missiles is actually fit for the work of America, man. A regular arrow or a regular weapon, no, man. The Lord have to go above and beyond to take this guy out, man. He's not going to take him out like the ancient Babylonians, in the middle of the night. They're just partying bullshit, and all of a sudden they get taken by the merging peas. No, man, this is going to be a dramatic overthrowing, man. And it's going to be led by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua and the weapons of his indignation, which comes in the form of the nuclear missiles. It says, read this again. It says, "And forges a weapon fit for his use. And it is I who have created the destroyer to wreak havoc." And ultimately, the Lord, He created Esau. He created Esau, but He also created Esau to create a missile to make him destroy himself. That's how you know that the Lord, He's a power to be feared. And He's also the ultimate power, the ultimate warrior, man. Let's get this. This is the book of Isaiah 13. And I'm gonna start at verse 4. Just get to the point. Matter of fact, start at verse 4. It says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Now, right here, this is talking about when all these different countries who have nuclear capabilities, and don't trust everything that Esau say, because I think it's no more than 12 countries who have. I don't even say 12, no more than 10 countries that have nuclear capabilities. Don't trust that, man, because hey, you have to realize even these different countries that have allies, you don't think they're going to share their secret weapon? No, are they going to actually report to America, this how many weapons we got, just in case we get defined? This is all I got. This is all you need to know to defeat me. No, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah, the Lord, He's going to make these missiles to be shot off. And once they shot off, for the lack of better words, the Lord, He's going to control it. That's why it says the Lord of hosts. When you go into the word host, it actually goes into armies. The Lord of armies mustered the host of the battle. They come from a very far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. So the weapons of his indignation is those ICBM nuclear missiles, man, which is actually going to come from an aerial attack to come down and destroy the place that we know as America, man, in various parts that follow after the American doctrine, man, or the American way of life, man. Let's get this in Psalms 7, jumping down to verse 12. It says, matter of fact, 11, the Most High judgeth the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will wet his sword. He hath bitten his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. So how can a literal bow or a literal sword, yet that's the instruments of death, but how can that bring death to a whole country, man? A whole continent get destroyed just by one little arrow. No, that arrow is actually talking about ICBM nuclear missiles. That's why it says they come from a very far country. An arrow cannot be shot from one end of the earth to an arrow can't even be shot to the other side of town, man. I don't care how strong you is, Let's go ahead and continue on. It says, he hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth the arrows against the persecutor. So it's Yahweh Shemashah that actually predestinated these devices to destroy. It says, behold, he travailed with iniquity and conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. And that's the reason why he think he can go throughout the whole planet Earth and think he won't be judged and think that, nobody will call him up for his BS. But hey, it's going to be one day when it's going to come in you as a thief in the night. It's going to be one day when even your allies are going to turn on you, Esau. So what you going to do then? It says, he hath made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. Yes, all those treaties you bought, those covenants that you broken, man. It's not like the world don't know that you're the devil that the Bible speaks of. Hey, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Everybody is going to have a sense of rejoicing once the so-called white man is out of power. But how is he going to get out of power? Through nuclear weaponry, man. Let's continue on. It says, his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate. Showing you that it's going to be an aerial attack that's going to take this guy out, man. Let's get this in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 16th chapter. This Wisdom of Solomon 16. And I'm jump down to verse 15. It says, but it is impossible to escape thine hand. So it's impossible to try to fight against the Lord, man. It's impossible to try to not get your judgment, Esau, because you will be judged for all the bullshit that you've done upon the planet Earth, man. That's why he's trying to push forth. People come with the doctrine, the missiles, missiles not real. It's going to be destroyed with earthquakes. And no, man, the Lord, he's going to turn it out on this devil, man. And that's the perfect poetry, too. The same thing that you did at the beginning is going to be the same thing that take you out at the end. That's perfect storytelling, man. Let's continue on. It says, for the ungodly that denied to know thee was scourged by the strength of thy arm with strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted, and they could not avoid. So you're not going to be able to avoid the ICBM nuclear missiles unless you have a UFO, unless you have a chariot, man. You know, that's the only way you're going to be able to avoid the judgment. You have to be predestinated to be delivered. Either you're predestinated to be delivered or you're predestinated to be destroyed, man. And there's no way you can avoid it. Continuing on, it says, and through fire were they consumed. So they were consumed through fire, and not just a regular bonfire, a fire that came with, you know, steel, for the lack of better words, a fire that came with war. Because World War III is going to end off with the missiles flying everywhere. This is the book of Ezekiel 38, and I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, and I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord power. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. Yes, because ultimately it's going to be Edomite on Edomite crime. The Russians versus the Americans, the Ukrainians versus the Russians. All that is Edomite on Edomite crime, man. All these different governments, who Esau have his hand inside their government, they're going to actually buck up and shoot missiles. World War III is going to be a height of destruction, but it's going to be also the end of the current time that we're living in. That's why we're hastening the destruction to come, because as sooner as it comes, the sooner we can get into peace in the kingdom of heaven, man. Continuing on at verse 22, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Now, what is this talking about? Is this talking about rain? No, this is talking about how the same way the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, but it's going to be magnified this time, man. This time it's going to be with ICBM nuclear missiles to ultimately cleanse the whole land. The earth is going to be refreshed by the destruction that's coming upon the nation of Edom. And again, fire is the best cleansing agent to cleanse all the wickedness that these guys have been doing upon the planet Earth. So let's get this in 2 Ezra 7, and we're going to jump down to verse 42. Yep, matter of fact, let's start at verse 43. It says, in the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Yes, that day of doom, you're going to the word doom. Another word for doom is judgment, man. Judgment upon whom? Judgment upon the so-called white man. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. So in order for the kingdom of heaven to come, and immortality and peace to come, this current kingdom have to be taken out, man. Continuing on, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. And the Lord, he have broke down the green tree, and he's raising up the little tree, man. The tree that was withered, the tree that had to grow through the concrete, get out the gutter, for the lack of better words. And ultimately, that tree is going to flourish and be a great mustard seed tree, man. The most biggest and powerful tree ever that you come under for shade. But in order for that tree to get to that point, certain things had to happen, man. Let's continue on. It says, then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor oppress him that has gotten the victory. It says, because ultimately when that destruction comes, it's going to be the end of our suffering, man. And either you love this suffering or you didn't. If you love this suffering, then you're going to be overcome, man. But if you didn't, you're going to get the victory through Yahweh Shah. So yeah, I can just a quick little video. I pray it was edifying when I say Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, Shalom, DTA, in the Bible.